March blessings. Oh my goodness, we're doing 2 in 1 week. Is she on a roll? We're gonna see. How are y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Get something to drink, relax for a second. And we're really just gonna be talking about all of the messages that I've received for March, as well as the messages I've received just in general for the spring, because you guys know that March is the month of the spring equinox. And the spring equinox signifies the natural new year. This is a time where we can expect our energy to start to rise. This is also a time where you can expect to feel more and more creative, maybe even more and more reawakened. We know that in winter, we know that we have the new year in the Gregorian calendar in January, but we also know that January is still winter. So what's really going on here, right? Because when we're in that winter season, so many of us feel called to maybe stay indoors. Maybe you feel called to be more reflective, more to yourself, really just in a state of hibernation. So when we have spring rolling around, what it really is a time to reawaken. And that's exactly what March is going to be all about. So like how I said, just get comfortable. We're going to really dive into it today. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the spirit, but spirit has been giving me so many beautiful messages about change and about evolution. And it just, of course, yes, I'm going to bring up Ifa again, but it just reminds me of when you receive your hand in Ifa, you get a reading that really talks about your purpose, and then an Odu comes down. If you guys don't know what an Odu is one of 256 combinations of energies that you can receive at any given time. And when you get your hand in Ifa, you get your Odu for your life path. And in the session that I had with my Baba and all the priestesses around, they really spoke about the importance of change, specifically in my life. And this hasn't just been coming up for me just on a personal level, but also Spirit has been giving me so many messages about change in general within the collective. We talked about last YouTube video the fact that so many people are awakening, so many people are using maybe the anger or the frustration that they feel to really fuel something new within their lives, to really start to make new changes, to start to speak out in different ways, and to start to show up in community in many different ways as well. And what Spirit is really speaking about for the collective, kind of following that message up, is the fact that so many of us in March and in the spring season, we need to get more used to the changes that we're making. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that again. Take a sip. You need to get more used to, you need to acclimate to, you need to normalize the changes that you're making. Now, what does that really mean? The funny part about changing as a person in whatever way, right? Maybe it's the way that you dress, or maybe you want to fully change careers, or maybe you just want to, stop putting up with bullshit. Stop putting up with, things that are not good for your spirit. The funny thing about change is that, of course, and let me not start off with that, but I'm just going to say this. Your environment will resist the changes that you're trying to make within your own being. I'm going to say that again. Your environment will always resist the changes that you're making within your own being. Why is that? Because your external world is a reflection of your internal world. And when we have normalized certain things, they have literally then created themselves as different pillars of belief systems, different pillars of assumptions, different pillars of expectations that we have for how life responds to us. But when we decide to change, we have to understand that those assumptions are going to start to change. Those belief systems are going to start to change. And it's going to take a minute for your external reality, which is literally the most solidified form of your own mind. We're going to go back into that in a second, but your external reality is the most solidified form of your own mind. So what that means is when you're trying to create a change, when you're trying to have, start new habits, of course your reality is going to have resistance because your own mind also has resistance. We know that your external world and how you perceive the world and how you experience this life and how you create your reality is based on your internal world. And so the things that we assume, believe, and the things that we align our actions and feelings and words and thoughts with are going to really manifest within our external world. And so of course, you're gonna have so much resistance. You're gonna have resistance from your family. You're gonna have resistance from your friends. You're gonna have resistance from your coworkers. You're gonna have resistance from, you know, everybody around you, because everyone is a reflection of you. Okay? And Spirit was really speaking about the fact that so many of us need to stop looking for validation to our external world, looking for validation from, rather, our external world for the changes that we're making within. And we need to start to expect that, of course, there is going to be resistance that comes up when you're starting to make changes, but this does not mean that you need to stop making those changes. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable because it is unfamiliar. It's going to be uncomfortable because it is outside of your comfort zone. But I want you to understand that the more and more that you act in alignment with the beliefs, intentions, and the new changes that you really want to make for yourself, the more and more your reality will start to acclimate to the new energy that you're presenting it with. The more and more that you harmonize your internal world and find that validation within yourself, the more and more that your external world will also start to give you that validation. And so bringing it back to one of the Odus, it spoke about the fact that I personally, and I know many of you guys may resonate with this as well, I cannot wait to change. I cannot wait to change. If I feel a change coming on, I have to move forward with it. I have to decide that change is worth my comfort zone. I have to decide that change is worth any feelings of safety. I have to know that safety and comfort and peace and love and joy and abundance and all these things that I desire, it's gonna be on the other side of that change. And this is a new assumption that you really have to adopt as you begin to change. We're coming into March, we're coming into the spring, and this is the season of change. This is the season of setting forth new intentions. This is the season of, casting forth, a new project or, a new belief or something that you want to call in, setting out the intention for you to then call it in. You have to understand that waiting for other people to validate you in those changes, you're going to be waiting forever, because inherently that feeling of you waiting for that validation, it's just solidifying this feeling of powerlessness and helplessness within yourself. And it's so funny because your external world is literally the most solid form of your internal being, your internal mind. How you have created your external world shows you everything about what's going on beneath the surface. The subconscious beliefs, the different aspects of your own self-image, what you've been assuming and expecting the world to be, the world will constantly and be consistently manifesting itself as. And so as we move into this March, as we move into this new season, I want you to normalize the fact that, and understand the fact that you are always going to be in this beautiful dance with life. You're always going to be in this beautiful dance with your internal and external, and maybe there's resistance here, and maybe there's some uncomfortable feelings here, and maybe this and maybe that. But I want you to understand that the more and more uncomfortable that you get, the more and more authentic that you get, and the more uncomfortable that makes you, understand that the more and more that you're going to literally burst out of the cage that you've created for yourself. The more and more that you're going to burst out of the cage of your comfort zone. Because I want you to ask yourself, are you really comfortable in the space that you're in? Or do you want more? Are you really comfortable in the space that you're in? Or do you want to create more community? Or do you want to bring more people together? Or do you want to be of service? Or are you really comfortable with the current relationships that you have? Or do you want to attract in people who see you? Do you want to attract in people who are really going to really be there for you? Are you really comfortable? Or do you know that you seek more freedom in this life? Do you know you seek more creative expression in this life? Do you know? Are you really comfortable? Because are you really comfortable? That's really the question here. And so many of you guys know that you're not, but you don't know where to start. It all starts with, number one, you guys know this, if you guys have been watching my videos, it starts with number one, your self-image. Who do you believe yourself to be? And how do you think the world responds to that archetype of you? Because who you believe yourself to be is perception. Just like the ego is perception, just like the ego is this created version of you that's been created over time due to your experiences. It is not you, but your mind views life through the egoic perspective. And so much of, and you know, side note, much of the spiritual journey is coming back to the spirit and knowing who you really are. But our life is first created from who we think that we are. And so when we begin to ask ourselves, who am I beyond what I do for other people? Who do I believe myself to be? What do I think is capable for me? What do I think that I'm capable of, right? Like, what do I think that I can really do? When you begin to look at that and realize how that is either opening the way for your creative expression or for your expression of your true being, or how that's limiting your expression of your true being. When you begin to do that deep internal work, you could begin to move into, okay, now that I understand how I've created my life from my own self-image, how do I expect life to be working in or against my favor? This is the second layer of how we create our reality. The assumptions that we have about the external world will always be made to be true. This is because your subconscious mind, after you give it a belief, after you give it a statement, it inherently, the way that it works is it always is going to look for evidence that this is right. The subconscious mind is always going to look for evidence. So one of the pieces of work that I do with my clients many times when you want to adopt in a new belief system is you're going to say, what is the belief that you really want to believe? And then you're already going to give your subconscious mind 3 pieces of evidence. So you're going to write down that belief and you're going to say, okay, what are 3 different ways that this is already true in my life? And so in this way, what begins to happen is your subconscious mind starts to work in autopilot or on autopilot to continue to validate that belief and continue to manifest more and more experiences that are in alignment with that belief. But if you are trying to work with an affirmation or you're trying to work with the belief, and you just give it the belief, you just put that slot in the machine and you're like, all right, work for me. Your subconscious mind is probably going to reject it, especially if it's not in alignment with your self-image. And so the way to really begin to recreate your reality, especially from a self-image and projected image perspective, which is what we just talked about, is to number 1, identify what you really want to be experiencing, what you really want to be believing, and look for evidence of it, at least 3 pieces of evidence, okay? And so we have that self-image, we have how do we think the world responds to us, and then we have tapping into the infinite. Now this is both tapping into your own creative expression, but it's also tapping into the divine, tapping into spirit. The divine, Olodumare, God, is the one who allows us to receive these visions of a world that we have not yet experienced. The divine allows us to tap into a world that is unlimited. When we seemingly exist, in a world of limits, in a world of cages in many different ways, in a world of density. Tapping into the divine helps you not just receive the visions for yourself and who you're really meant to be, and it helps you change because it gives you that unlimited source of energy and power. But it also helps you understand what peace really is because you have a higher level of faith that everything is working out in your favor. You have a higher level of faith that everything is shifting, to your better good because you believe and you're starting to connect deeper into this all-knowing, all-powerful force that is working for your betterment, for your good, for the good of all humanity. But God is an energy that we tap into in all forms of life, but we have to also understand that, and you guys have heard this, that God is working within us. And so God can't do anything without us doing something because God has no hands and feet. We are God's hands and feet. And so when you're able to tap into the ethers and tap into those higher realms and receive those messages from the divine, and then take those messages into your body and move your actions in alignment with those messages and move your actions in alignment with those visions and those prophecies, that is how we create a world of harmony and of peace and of balance. But when we focus too much, and going back to that aspect of change, we focus too much on how other people are perceiving us, how other people are perceiving our changes, how other people are perceiving, you know, what we're doing. What we're really doing is we're looking for evidence of the negative belief systems that we have within ourselves. When we're looking for validation, what's really happening is you're feeling within that you're not enough. You're feeling within that it's unsafe for you to change. You're feeling within that, you know, the changes that you want to make won't sustain you, or people aren't going to like you, or you're going to get some type of negative backlash, or you're really just looking for validation that you're going to be safe to change. But by you looking to the external world again, and the external world is only going to give you resistance because it's in a reflection of your internal world. And of course your internal world is going to have resistance because you've only been comfortable with a certain aspect of yourself from this point on. But when you look to the external world for that validation, what you're really doing within your conscious and subconscious mind is you're validating the negative belief systems that are telling you that it is not safe to change. You're validating those negative belief systems that are telling you that you need other people's permission to change. And I need you to start to notice this at all different levels. Notice this, you know, on the very sneaky ways that you may do this. Notice this in the very sneaky ways that you may kind of extend your energy and say, okay, do they like this? Are they responding in a certain way to me? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? The best thing that you can do for yourself in this season, in March, in the season of change, is constantly and consistently, once a day, if not twice a day, intentionally pull your energy back into your body. Ground your energy back into your body and affirm that this is your safe space. Affirm that all the validation that you need, you're gonna feel it here. No one else can give you a feeling that you're feeling within your own body. What you're really doing when you're looking for that validation is you're looking for permission slips to feel something that's going to be cultivated within regardless. And so what this really means for March is that this is a season of grounding. This is a season of finding your inner power. This is a season of also reawakening to your own self-validation and really sitting at the seat of your own sovereignty and understanding that the changes that you are making or are not just going to benefit you, they're going to benefit the whole world. We drilled this point in. You guys have heard me say that so many times because that's really the vision. That's really the message. And I think, you know, it's been hard. It's been interesting, I'll say that, to change myself because a lot of you guys, you know, have known me as a reader. A lot of you guys have known me just as, you know, someone to give the messages and things like that. And that's still a very big part of me. But to be honest with you guys, I'm ready to actually spark change. I'm ready to actually help you through the maze of life. I'm ready to actually help you see results. I've been doing the Mind, Body, Soul program for years, and the public has never been able to apply for that because I've always done it on a very much case-by-case basis, and I've always done it on a very much basis of if you've worked with me once, then I'm going to give you this opportunity. But the reason why I've kept that so secret for so long is because I know that there's external resistance as well as internal resistance to begin to present myself more as my true life's work, as what I really came to this earth to do. That wasn't just something that was validated within my own being, but was validated by my own elders, by my babalao, by my priestesses that are around me in my spiritual community. So there was resistance. There was resistance to change. There was resistance because I've been through X, I've been through Y, I've been through Z. I've been labeled as this type of person. I've been this. So how can someone like me step into this new position? It doesn't matter what has happened in the past. What matters is that I'm answering the call and I'm staying in integrity. I'm keeping accountability for myself. I'm staying in integrity and I'm continuing to walk the path that God has literally laid out for me. Because the fact of the matter is, the longer that you wait to change, the less longevity that your blessings that you think that you have in your life will actually have. Okay, the more that you continue to force yourself to do something that you know is not in alignment with you, the more and more that you'll lose, regardless if that's on a spiritual perspective, and many times it will also happen on a physical perspective. You know, you've seen it, right? a relationship that wasn't in alignment with you, that you tried to keep going, inevitably probably crashed and burned, right? A lot of people have experienced jobs or experienced positions that they took not from the place of their own heart, but just taking for one reason or another, and that situation crashed and burned. So the question here is, are you ready for change? Are you ready for the life that Spirit really wants you to walk? And are you going to continue to look for validation in your external world? Or are you going to decide that right now, in this position, in this place, I'm going to give myself my own power? And I'm going to give myself evidence of why it's safe for me to do so. And I'm going to then allow my subconscious mind to work in my favor. That's what I got. Let's look into more of what I received. I got my journal. I got my journal that I designed myself a long time ago. I may release this at some point. This is an old journal. But it says here, gratitude is the fastest and easiest way to raise your vibration. I know that to be a fact, y'all. Okay. So these are the channel messages that I was able to write down. Number one, the changes that you're making will ultimately provide a life-changing shift in your life. Number two, you haven't normalized these changes because your self-image is clinging to what's comfortable. Number three, Spirit said the themes of March were creative liberation, shifting into self-love and full acceptance, getting to know all parts of yourself. Your new vibration will call you to a new life. I'm gonna say that again. Your new vibration will really initiate you into a new life. Spirit also talked about the importance. Actually, take a sip for a second. Spirit also spoke about the importance of changing out of love and not out of spite. Okay, this is really important. Changing out of love and not out of spite. So I want to talk about this for just a moment here. You're going to see, and I had to actively remove myself from this rhetoric because I really do not resonate with this. There's so many like spiritual accounts and things like that promote this idea of cut everybody off. Everybody is jealous of you. Everybody is this, everybody is that. And I had to really physically remove myself, from contributing to that conversation and not being a page that people post, on their stories. They're posting this quote about jealousy just out of spite because their homegirl down the street spited them or did whatever the case is. The answer to community and the answer to a balanced and harmonious life isn't, cutting everybody off. The answer to community and the answer to a harmonious and balanced life is releasing but also understanding, releasing but also having compassion, releasing and also bringing the power within yourself, releasing and also understanding your own boundaries, releasing and also understanding why people act the way that they do, releasing and also understanding that we're all on this human life and we all have not been perfect. Can we say that again? We're all on this human life and we all have not been perfect. Okay, there's this issue that we see in the spiritual community. A lot of people come to the spiritual community because they're seeing all these quotes about, oh, protect your peace and do this and do that. Yes, and have some of your own self-awareness so you can understand if actually you contribute to the problem. If actually you created this problem for yourself. And so there's a way to have boundaries with people while also giving grace to yourself and grace to others. And having grace for others does not always mean that you're in community or close community with them anymore, but it's no longer holding resentment in your heart. Because resentment and guilt and all these, not guilt, anger, resentment and anger only weigh you down. And so at what point are we going to wake up as a community and understand that if you want to make changes in your life, regardless if it's going to be in your relationships or whatever the case is, that you have to do so out of love and not out of spite. You have to be grounded within your own power and make these decisions out of love. And understand that we are all on this journey to learn different things. And it's not your responsibility to hold anyone's hand, but it'll do you good to release and let go. And not keep posting the same damn posts about jealousy and cutting people off every day. And then wonder why you're stuck and you're alone. You have to begin to understand and have the self-awareness to change within your own self and stop changing everything, your external environment, thinking that it's going to make you feel better. It's time to come back home to yourself and your own power. Okay? Spirit also talked about the a point of being comfortable with the changes that you implement for yourself. So a lot of people are scared to change. We talked about this a little bit, but a lot of people are scared to change because they feel uncomfortable adopting a new title, or they feel uncomfortable assuming that they will be, or knowing or feeling rather, that they will be successful in a whole new lane. You are going to have a buffering period. You're going to have a period of time where it's going to be resistance in your internal and external world. But you must endure the momentary discomfort in order for you to reach that level of bliss and of freedom that you know your soul is craving. Of course, your ego is going to fight this. Of course, those deep parts of you are going to fight this. That is understandable. It is to be expected because your ego has literally been created from your past experiences. And so if you're entering something new, of course your ego's going, wait, no. We don't know what's going to go on over there. We don't know. But are you going to continue to live from your ego, or live from your spirit, or live from your heart? And doing that, that visionary work of understanding how you changing is going to help to change the world. Again, it helps you pull from a source and a space that is unlimited. And so March is really about being comfortable with your own changes and re-emerging and reawakening, and doing that necessary self-image work so that you can move forward and align your life with your true destiny and your true path. That's what I got. Let's pull a card, shall we? So we block off all negative energies from all realms and dimensions and all space and time, and we invite in our benevolent angels, our benevolent spirit guides, our benevolent ancestors to come forward and deliver messages of love and light to best assist us on our path and purpose. I love that. Spirit, yes. What are the messages that you have for us? I don't know if you guys can see it, but these cards are popping out. Try not to lose nobody. Hopefully my camera doesn't overheat as we're doing this. Beautiful. Can I have one more card, Spirit, for the energy of March? Oh, I love that. Okay. So the first card that we have here is home. Ooh, home. Yes, indeed. The second card that we have here is death, and then we have focus. Ashe. The last two cards that we have here are gratitude, and then we have spiritual cleansing. I'm loving Spirit just showed me a message. So Spirit just showed me I love this analogy. So Spirit just showed me a tiger that's like trying to blend in an environment where it sticks out like a sore thumb. Oh, that's so funny. Spirit basically is showing me this message that a lot of us are trying to force fit ourselves in environments that we stick out in. And you wonder why it's uncomfortable for you, and you wonder why you want more, and you wonder why you want to shift, and you wonder why, baby, because you were not meant to be in a desert as a tiger. You was not meant to be fucking in the swamp as a tiger, right? You was not meant to be in these environments that you're force fitting yourself in. Spirit is talking about finding your home. Spirit is talking about finding your home. Okay? Spirit is talking about the fact that your home, that the place that you are meant to be in, is going to welcome all parts of you, even the parts that you are uncomfortable with. It is going to welcome the changes that you're making, even the changes right now that you are uncomfortable with. Spirit is talking about in March, we need to try to find our home, okay? That means find your community, and you're going to find your community by being 120,000% authentic. I'm going to give y'all an example. I've shifted my mission a little bit. I specifically, with Creation Container, with Hidden Divinity, with all these things that I'm beginning to launch this year, I specifically want to work with visionaries. I specifically want to work with people who have an idea of the world that is being birthed within them and want help with achieving, the necessary tools and achieving the necessary belief system in order for them to birth it. By me speaking directly to that visionary, I'm finding my home. By me beginning to pivot how I present my work to the visionary, because I know that being a visionary is so important for me, and I know that I only want to work with visionaries from here on out. Look at the last video, you either have it or you don't. By me pivoting my work to only wanting to work with visionaries, I'm finding my home, and I'm finding the spaces, and I'm creating the spaces, and I'm calling in the people who will reflect that strong belief that they are meant to make a change. And I can be of service and of guidance to those people who know that they are here for a reason. I'm not for the masses anymore. I decide what is up for consumption or what is up for the public's use. But the more and more that you get very specific on who you are authentically and what your home is gonna look and feel like and what you want to be surrounding you in your home, the easier and easier it is going to be to find the environment that you will actually thrive in. Okay, so the first card is home. The second card that we have here is the Death card. Now, we talked about this in depth already with the beginning messages that I gave you guys, but the Death card here is really speaking about the fact that, of course, this is a time for rebirth, this is a time for reawakening, this is a time for you to begin new things that make you feel uncomfortable. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say something else. New thought. What is the most uncomfortable thing for you to do that you really wanna do? What is the thing that's gonna put you out of your comfort zone, but you know it's gonna make you feel so fucking good? Maybe it's gonna make your inner child so happy. It's time for you to do it. And it's time for you to stop making excuses for yourself. It's time for you to decide now that what you used to be comfortable with, you will not accept anymore. And that starts with changing your own actions. That doesn't start with everybody moving around you differently. You're never gonna get a miracle, you're never gonna get a blessing until you decide to be the miracle and the blessing for yourself. And the blessing starts from you deciding to choose and actively act in alignment with the life that you want to be living. You cannot keep sending the universe signals. You cannot keep sending the universe, I want more abundance, but then when you get that idea, oh no, it can't be me, mixed signals. I mean, you can't keep sending the universe mixed signals, right? You get an idea, you say, oh, God, I just need more money. Then God, here is the idea that's gonna make you $1 million. But I'm scared. But have your butts create your own limitations. It's time for you to let the things that you know do not align with you, that you don't feel good with, let these things die, babe. What's going on here? It's time to let it go. We got focus, and I'm pairing this with gratitude. I feel like these two cards are coming in together, okay? You decide what reality you experience by where you spend your energy. I'm gonna say that again. You decide what reality you experience by where you spend your energy. Are you spending your energy focusing and fixating on everything that's wrong? Or are you spending your energy on solutions as well as gratitude for what's going right? Spirit is saying that our attention is our greatest tool. Spirit is saying that our focus is our greatest tool. Spirit is saying that our perspective is our greatest tool. Your perspective can give you the energy that you're looking for to actually move forward with the plan that you know you've created for yourself. But the more and more that you focus on why not, you're never going to be able to hear that why. Similarly to your intuition is a soft voice that speaks from a grounded space. Your anxiety is the one that yells. Your anxiety is the one that's constantly questioning you. But it's more entertaining to entertain the questions rather than the statements, right? Your anxiety is a question, your intuition is a statement. I said this way, years ago on Instagram. Years ago. Remember this. Remember this. What are you going to choose to focus on? What's the statement or what's the anxiety? Be able to have a higher level of self-awareness to distinguish the two. Last card that we have here is spiritual cleansing. As we come into this new year, this is a time for you to take your coconut bath. This is a time for you to take your rosemary bath. This is a time for you to take your hyssop, rosemary, coconut milk bath, baby. Some of us just need to take sea salt baths. I know I was told that you don't need nothing but sea salt. It's time for you to restart. It's time for you to cleanse your aura. You still carrying on all the old shit from the past, in the past. They not here no more, but they still got your energy. Because you're thinking about it every day. Why are you thinking about it every day? Because you still keeping these articles of clothing. You still keeping these gifts. You still keeping... It's time for you to cleanse your house and cleanse your aura. So that you can really restart. You can't keep asking, why am I not able to move forward if you're carrying all the baggage from the past? Let it go. But you can start that process by cleansing your aura. Again, very simple, very, very simple cleanse. Coconut milk, rosemary, hyssop. It's best to use live herbs. I got all that on my Patreon. You already know. If you're there, you're already there. If you're not, I don't know what to tell you. But there you go. There's so many recipes on my Patreon. So what Spirit's really talking about here as a message for March is it's time for us to find our new home and get more comfortable with the changes that you're making. No one else is gonna normalize your changes but you. That's what I got. Take a sip. Hidden Divinity launches March 10th. If you really want to get into some deep ass subconscious reprogramming work as well as healing your relationship with spirit, I know a lot of y'all do, because a lot of people come into spirituality with a whole bunch of religious trauma, and then they find, oh, why is it hard for me to manifest? Why is it hard for me to do this? Because you're not reaching to that unlimited power that's trying to help you out. How do I say disciplined? How do I say devoted? If you want to redefine your relationship with not just your mind, but also the divine, come join us on March 10th. It's a group challenge, so you're going to have people in there with you, obviously, group challenge. Anywho, comment, let me know how you feel. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.